Today's episode is brought to you by Brie Ryan. I mean, really, they just bugged us enough to cover this movie, so here we are. Love you, Brie Ryan.
Dear listener, today's going to be a good day, and here's why.
Because today we're heading into the end. I'm not going to hit that note. I'm Becca.
And I'm Eni, and this is Sincerely Us, a podcast for the casual musical theater fan.
I thought about it.
I thought you were actually going to do it. I was so excited.
I mean, I'm not Idina Menzel. I'm good.
Hi, Becca. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for our topic.
Okay. As a caveat, I feel like we need to say this. We're not going to cover every Disney movie that comes out. However, the reason we're covering this literally is because one of my really good friends in real life called me and was like, hey, will you cover this? And I was like, no, we're not going to cover it. And then they tweeted Eni, and Eni was like, yeah, we'll cover it. And I was like, all right. And the reason that I'm okay with it is because it's like very, like the music's very musical theater sound. So I feel like we need that caveat.
To be fair, okay, I was not aware you had said no.
It's like a mom and a dad.
And also, it doesn't take much to convince me to talk about, number one, Idina. You have me so self-conscious about saying her name.
I make fun of Edie for saying Idina Menzel.
Idina. Considering I hate when people call me Inez, it's fine.
I know.
I'm a terrible person. I don't need an excuse to talk about Idina Menzel. I don't need an excuse to talk about Jonathan Groff. And I don't need an excuse to talk about Disney. So when they were just like, hey, cover this, I was like, absolutely, why not? I don't see any reason why we shouldn't cover this. Other than the fact that Becca said no, which I found out after the fact.
The only reason I said no is because we had that whole conversation. This was like a behind-the-scenes conversation, audience, where we were like, we're not going to cover every Disney movie, no matter how much we want to. And so I was explaining that to them. And I finally, this conversation, I'm not exaggerating, was 30 minutes of me telling them, no, we're not going to cover it. And then they tweeted Edie and was like, you guys should cover this. And Edie was like, sure. And I was like, well, I mean, if Edie's down, it doesn't take much to get me to talk about Disney either, especially Anna. She's my fave.
The point of the story is we're covering Frozen 2 today.
Oh, yeah, we didn't say that. What else is new? I feel like that's all of our episodes.
Fair. It's kind of weird that we're covering Frozen 2, not covering Frozen and the Frozen Broadway show.
Yeah.
But I feel like we will cover the Frozen Broadway show at some point in the future.
Definitely.
So I don't want to dive too much into that as of right now.
Also, I like hardly know anything. I haven't listened to the soundtrack from that. I know there's a couple different songs, like Monster is on there.
Monster's such a good song.
I've heard.
It's such a good song.
And I've seen like videos of Elsa's dress transformation, which like blows my mind. But really that's it, because that's a show that I want to see. So like I want it to tour. So I'm waiting for it to get off Broadway so they'll tour it.
I guess.
I want to see it.
I think I can't remember if they had already announced that it was going to start touring.
I don't know. It'd be great, though, if they did that and came to Boston.
Well, sure. And Miami, please.
I mean, you have like 3 cities that tours come to. I have 1, besides New York.
Fair. You're also really not that far away from New York, so stop.
I know. I'm taking a trip at the end of the month, so...
Okay, so full spoilers beyond this point. We are going to be talking about the movie and the music and the plot of everything. So if you haven't seen Frozen 2 somehow, then go watch it and then come back and listen.
Also, I haven't seen it in like since it came out, because I saw it the weekend it came out, I feel like, or like the Tuesday it came out. So it's been a while.
I saw it the weekend it came out. I saw it on Sunday, which was like the longest that I've gone without seeing a Disney premiere, and it was like the worst 3 days of my life.
Didn't you say like 18 people messaged you?
Yeah, like between Friday night and Saturday night, it was in the teens. I don't remember exactly how many, but I remember it was in the teens of people texting me like, oh my God, Frozen 2. And I was like, I haven't seen it. If you continue to text me, we're never going to be friends again.
That's how Eni takes spoilers when it comes to Disney things.
For sure. And the thing is that like I am definitely like in the family where we go every Thursday night, like not even Friday night, like we go Thursday nights to go see all of the movies, especially Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars. Like we have our tickets already bought for Star Wars for the Thursday, which is the 19th, the 18th, whatever.
The 18th.
The 18th. Like we're going Thursday night at 6:00. So like I'm going to go to work and go straight to Star Wars. And there will be no spoilers for me before I see the movie.
So there isn't a lot of movies that I feel that way. Endgame, I was terrified of being spoiled. Like, I didn't see any trailers. The only thing I knew was what Hawkeye looked like. Like that, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that those were the only spoilers I knew about Endgame. I had never seen anything.
I was terrified for you not to have seen Endgame by the time I was done seeing Endgame.
I know. So I literally bought tickets the night before because I live in a small town. So, like, I'm always going to be able to see premieres. And I literally bought tickets the night before because I was like, all right, I have to just go. Like, I literally skipped my dance class that I take. And I was like, I'm going to see Endgame because I'm so scared of being spoiled. And this is like my thing. Like, I would have had so many people texting me just like you did about Frozen. So I was like, I need to go see this right away. And I went by myself.
I definitely would have been one of those people.
I know. You weren't even out by the time I was out. I saw a show before you, right?
Yeah.
You were like 7:30 and I was 7.
I FaceTimed you like the second it was done and I was crying. And we had a whole conversation in the lobby while I was standing in the lobby of my movie theater about Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah. I talked to that was when I first met your parents.
Yes. Through FaceTime.
Yeah.
Okay. So Frozen 2. What did you think of the movie? Easily
my favorite princess movie. Like
poor Moana.
I mean,
she's not a Disney princess.
She's not a Disney princess. She's a chief. But also, they're not princesses anymore either. Spoiler alert, Anna becomes queen.
And Elsa's a literal goddess.
Like,
an actual goddess. Oh my god.
What a plot twist. So, when Eni was being mean to me, when we were talking about Frozen.
I was not being mean.
I know, I listened back to it. It was just because I kept calling Anna a Disney princess. And then at the end, that was the only time I sobbed. It was the only time I cried.
Oh, no, I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. I mean, but who's surprised? Like, I cry for everything. So, this entire movie made me sob. I think probably from Show Yourself. Actually, no. From the moment that they found, like, the thing on the boat about their parents.
Right.
Like, I think from there on, I was just crying. And, like, when Elsa sends Anna and Olaf in, like, a ice canoe down the river, like, that broke my heart too. And
I knew something like that was going to happen, but I didn't know what it was. Like, I knew she was going to send them away. I just didn't know exactly what she was going to do, if that makes sense. Like,
absolutely.
I definitely love Elsa a lot more in this movie than I did in the first one.
Elsa's always been my favorite.
Yeah. Elsa's always been mine.
Since Frozen 2 came out, or Frozen, the original came out, Elsa has always been my favorite. And, like, the joke is that my mom always tells me, like, of course, you finally pick your favorite Disney princess and she's a queen.
Right.
And now she's a goddess. So, yes.
Mine's a queen.
Absolutely.
Love of my life.
But I wasn't a huge fan of Anna in the first half of this movie.
Right.
I was a bigger fan of Anna in the first movie, but what they, like, decided to do with her character for, like, the first half, like, I don't know. I just didn't relate to it, or I just didn't, like, I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. Anna, I feel like, did such a great job at proving herself to be independent and, like, strong in the first movie, and I feel like they took a lot of that away in her, like, just being, like, dumb in her choices following Elsa. Like, not that her choice to follow Elsa was dumb, but just, like, certain things. Like, her running into the fire, what the heck was that going to accomplish? Like, how, like, that didn't make any sense.
Right.
However, all of that changed in The Next Right Thing. Is that what the song's called?
Yeah.
The Next Right Thing. Like, from there, I was just like, okay, fine, I love her. And
she just... See, I didn't get... Like, I understand what you're saying. I didn't get that at all because I relate to Anna so much that I could, like, hear her thought process, if that makes sense. I definitely thought it was a lot more about the fact that she finally got her sister and then she didn't want to lose her again. if that makes sense. Like,
oh, absolutely. And I can totally understand where she's coming from. I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that her choice to follow Elsa and to like try to help and do everything was dumb or like I didn't understand it. I just, there were certain choices that she made, leaving Kristoff without saying anything, you know, the whole fire thing, like that just didn't make sense to me. And honestly, like it just, I didn't like her character for those choices. But from the next right thing, when she like picks herself up and realizes, okay, I'm on my own, I need to do this by myself, and like that's her like song and her whole like climax of her character building, I feel.
Yeah.
You know, then she goes off and does like this incredibly, still very stupid, but, you know, insanely brave thing. And it kind of like, I don't know, it just felt different to me. Yeah.
It felt different. Yeah, I get it. Going back to her leaving Kristoff, first of all, that was silly. I mean, I get like there wasn't time to say anything to him. I still think it was silly. But I love when she comes back and she's like, I'm so sorry for leaving you. And he said, that's okay. My love's not fragile. And I'm just like,
there are so many, like, between that line, Olaf, or Anna tells Olaf that it's okay for him to be angry. And what's the line that Sven tells Kristoff?
It's actually the quote for the end of the show.
Oh, okay. I'll stop.
Spoiler alert.
I'll stop.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, the quote is, you feel what you feel and your feelings are real.
Exactly. Like, I
love that we say that Sven said that when it was Kristoff saying it to himself.
It's fun. But yeah, like a lot of the quotes in here in this movie, like not even singing, not even lyrics, like just spoken quotes, spoken lines in this movie are so good. And like it's a Disney movie. Like this is a kid's, quote unquote, a kid's movie. I don't think this is a kid's movie. I think that there's a lot of themes and a lot of things that happen in this movie that my, you know, 4-year-old niece who's obsessed with Frozen is not going to understand.
Right.
Or my two, I call them my niece. They're my godkids. Whatever. They're not going to understand what's actually happening. They just get excited whenever Anna, Elsa, Olaf are on screen. Yeah. So I think it's definitely for a bigger kid / adult audience. Yeah, like it's just like the lines in here are very, very deep and very good. And I love this movie a lot.
I really like that they gave the male characters, being Olaf and Kristoff, I really like that they gave them their storylines were a lot about their feelings, because we talk a lot about how women or little girls, I mean, need like powerful women characters. Like that's the whole Disney princess thing right now, like dream big princess and things like that. But I really like the way that they took Kristoff and Olaf, and they just made them more sensitive, which little boys should be able to see. As someone with a 7-year-old nephew that is a very emotional child, it makes me so happy for him to see a character like Kristoff, who literally harvests ice, like is a pretty manly man, like he's a big dude and all of that, and yet he is still like loving and supportive towards his partner and like talking about his feelings. And I'm just like, Disney, who are you? Like, what is going on?
I know. This movie was so good. The animation was incredible. Like there's the technology that Disney is using, and it's so funny to see like with each movie like how it grows, because like I remember seeing Frozen and the beginning sequence with all the snowflakes, like thinking, oh my god, this is incredible, and then seeing Moana and the way that they animated the water like was just again incredible. And then you cut to this movie where they have the water again, and it's just something completely different, but yet so, I don't want to say better than the way that they did it in Moana, but it's just so realistic. Like there were scenes where they're walking through the forest, and like I remember Lindsay turning to me like, this is animated? I'm like, yeah, it's animated.
Yeah, everything. Yep. Every single piece. I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest, the first probably 20 minutes I wasn't that into it, which is weird because it literally opens with a company number, and I love company numbers. Going to musical theater terms. But I think it took me a second to get into it, because Frozen is one of my favorite Disney movies, easily.
Same.
I mean, I was 19 when it came out, and it still like struck me. And like So at our studio, we always have a joke about how the little girls are all of them are obsessed with Let It Go, obviously. Still to this day, 6 years later, and Frozen is still the most popular like franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
And all of these kids were not born when Frozen came out. And I have a ballet tap class, and we just listen to the Frozen soundtrack because that's what they want to listen to. And I'm like, that's fine. I love Frozen. Like last night we had a recital and we did Do You Want to Build a Snowman because I knew they would dance to that. So like I haven't gotten sick of Frozen at all. Like all these people joke about how annoying Let It Go is and stuff and how they're sick of Frozen and Anna and Elsa. And I'm like, really? I haven't hit that point yet. Like meeting Anna and Elsa, I've met them twice now because I'm a baller. Meeting them at Disney they make me so happy, especially Anna. I don't know. And now I'm just guessing. I don't even know what my point was.
I'm in the same boat. The Frozen 1 soundtrack I had on repeat for a very, very, very
Same.
long time. When Frozen came out, Linton and I were moving into a different house. And I remember like going in there and like painting our room and literally having Let It Go, Idina Menzel, and Let It Go, Demi Lovato, like on repeat, like those two songs. And Linton wanted to murder me. Like he was so sick of it. And everyone around me is very sick of Let It Go because of me. And I'm still like, the song's great. What are you talking about?
It is.
And as much as I love the music from the first movie and Let It Go is still like my jam, this soundtrack is so good. I agree with you. Some Things Never Change, which is the company number in the beginning, is probably the weakest song for me.
It feels like the Troll song to me. Fixer Upper from the first one.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Because it's just like it's a typical company number, which I mean, again, I love both of these soundtracks so much that when I say it's the weakest song, it still means it's better than a lot of songs.
Oh, for sure.
But it didn't captivate me, which I feel like it should have. Like I think if it was a play, I probably would have been a little bit bored. But because it was a Disney movie, I was much more into it. But yeah, I definitely liked the solos more. Like Into the Unknown and The Next Right Thing.
So before Some Things Never Change is like the prelogue, the flashback of Anna and Elsa as kids and their mom, like basically the father telling the whole story of what's gonna happen in this movie. And the mother, the mom's lullaby.
Right.
All Is Found, which like that had like I've had stuck in my head. I've had this entire soundtrack stuck in my head since the movie came out. Evan Rachel Wood was great as the mom. Her voice is amazing. I was very obsessed with Across the Universe, the movie. Yeah. For the longest time, and she plays Lucy in that movie. So I love her voice to begin with. I was really excited when they said that she was going to be in this movie and that she was going to play the mom because I was like, ooh, she's going to sing. I haven't heard her sing in forever. I thought that scene was really cute. I love like little Anna and Elsa.
Me too.
Question, do you think that was like the same night that everything started in the first movie?
I didn't think of that, but maybe.
So I was talking, I don't remember. We went with a few people. I was talking to somebody when we left the theater and like in my head, that was like the actual night that like Anna wakes up Elsa and the whole like Frozen 1 starts.
Yeah, maybe.
And then I have an issue with the fact that the mom knew about magic. Yeah. And knew about all this and still let Elsa like grow up the way that she grew up. And like that bothers me. Because they didn't die until
they were late teens.
Exactly. And if she was already from this I'm sorry, I don't remember what they're called. The tribes.
The island.
Yeah, the tribes people. Like I don't remember what they were called. But the Northerners, I guess. If she was like from there and they believed in magic and they had seen magic and they had like lived with it, like how are you gonna raise your child isolated and alone and scared her entire life?
So I know that Elsa finds out at the end that the reason she has powers, first of all, the fact that Anna doesn't have powers is crap. I'm still mad about it. I wanted her to have powers too, but it's fine. The fact that Elsa has powers, she finds out, is because of her mom. It's like a gift from the gods. What if her mom thought it was like a curse from the gods? Like, what if that's why she was scared of Elsa's powers? Because it did hit Anna in the head and, you know, hurt her. So maybe she thought that like Elsa couldn't control them because it was a curse from the gods because she left her people or something.
I don't know. I still don't buy it.
Apparently I'm a Disney theorist now.
I mean, that's fine. Like, I'm completely okay with that, and you're completely justified in thinking that. I just, like, when you talk about both movies,
I have no idea. I just pulled that out, Amy. I have no idea where that came from.
I mean, it's fine. We're just talking here. But in the first movie, when Grandpappy, like, tells her, like, you can't be scared, like,
yeah.
Like, how are you then going to turn around and basically make her scared her entire adolescence? Yeah. And it's an argument that I've had since the first movie, but this kind of just solidified it for me a little bit more. Other than that, I thought the whole, like, mother-daughter's relationship, like, was super cute to watch. And I love that entire sequence. What did you think of the charades scene?
What's the charades scene?
When they play charades, Becca.
Oh, by the fire?
Yeah.
I liked seeing Kristoff's relationship with Elsa. I thought that was cute, but I don't remember much about that. I'm going to be honest. I remember her, that was right before Show Yourself, right? Or was that right before Into the Unknown?
No, Into the Unknown.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really remember much of that. But again, it's been like 2 weeks and I have not revisited anything. Besides like maybe listening to the Panic cover and not liking it. So yikes, hot take.
Okay, well, in that case, let's just talk about music because that's what we like to do here anyway.
Okay, I want to talk about the similarities between Show Yourself and Defying Gravity.
All right, let's do it. Is like it Show Yourself and Defying Gravity or Into the Unknown and Defying Gravity?
I get them mixed up.
Well, okay, so I saw the same tweet that you're talking about. I get it, but
that's from Patrick Dougal, by the way. You should follow him on Twitter. He's great.
I mean, go ahead. You go. You talk first. You brought it up. Go. I won't talk over you, I promise.
No, I was gonna let you talk. I'm okay with it.
You brought it up.
Okay. Well, I don't know which song it is. I can't remember like which song, because you and I have had this conversation like off air. But there is a part in one of the songs, because I get them mixed up because I listen to them back to back. And there's a part in one of the songs that she like talks. But she like talks and sings in that Idina Menzel way.
That's she like Into the Unknown.
Okay, that's the one that reminds me of.
Which I don't. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one that reminds me of Defying Gravity.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably because it's Idina Menzel, but also
probably.
But also, I don't hear Elfie in any of Let It Go. I very distinctly hear Elsa. But I hear a very Elphaba sound in Into the Unknown and Show Yourself, but mostly Into the Unknown. It might just be that she's belting way more than she did in Let It Go. Yeah,
they let her actually like use her voice this time around.
I know. They were like, oh, wait, that's right. You're a Tony Award-winning actor.
You're Idina frickin' Menzel. Let's do this.
You're Adele Dazeem. Come on now.
So I kind of agree with you. And even though in Wicked, The Wizard and I comes before Defying Gravity, I definitely think that Into the Unknown is more Defying Gravity and Show Yourself is more The Wizard and I.
Okay, I can hear that.
Yeah. I love both of the songs. I love Idina Menzel a lot. Mm-hmm. Anytime she sings, I just start crying, so it's fine. I think I might actually like Show Yourself more than Into the Unknown.
That one feels much more intimate.
It does. I just also don't like the words Show Yourself. Like, I don't think that they flow very well. But I like the song a lot.
I guess I don't know what you mean.
Like, the actual phrase, Show Yourself, like, I think that's a weird title and theme, or not theme, but just, like, couple of words to center an entire song around.
But it makes sense in the plot.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. I'm not saying it doesn't. I just, like, audibly, I don't like the way that those words sound together.
Huh, that's interesting.
Okay.
No, that's just interesting. Like, I didn't even think of that. I think I would agree with you if it was more of a belty song, but she kind of like, I don't want to say whispers it, because she definitely doesn't whisper it. I don't think Idina Menzel knows how to whisper.
Definitely not.
I think it's like more subdued, I guess. So it's like more breathy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I really don't know how to explain what I'm saying. This is why this is a casual musical theater fan podcast.
Well, I don't know. Like, she's definitely more timid in Show Yourself. And in the scene as well, like she is basically discovered this whole ice fortress of solitude thing and is trying to find the source of this voice. And she's like going through this cave, not knowing what she's going to find. So she's definitely more timid and kind of nervous, I guess, than she is in Into the Unknown. Because in Into the Unknown, she goes from like, just leave me alone to, okay, maybe you have a point. Let's go on an adventure.
Right.
And there's no sense of like being scared. It's more of a, you're annoying, leave me alone. Like, my life is fine, thanks, bye. And then it obviously switches into a, well, maybe this sounds like a good idea. Maybe you have a point there.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Show Yourself is definitely more of a vulnerable song.
Yeah, which The Wizard and I is too, because I feel like they're both very hopeful songs. Like Show Yourself, by the end, obviously she discovers what it is or whatever. Right?
Yeah, it's her mom.
Okay, you looked weird. You like made a weird face, so I was like,
sorry.
Was that correct?
Yeah, I was gonna add that. Her mom. It's her mom.
So I think that they're both in The Wizard of Oz, it's much more of a hopeful song because it's like, these are the things that the wizard and I are going to do. Whereas in Show Yourself, it's more of, its vulnerability is more like discovery, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's much more about like finding her mom and connecting with her. And that's, I think that may be where I'm tying those two together, despite like the sounds of them are very similar. But I think the reason that I liked this movie so much more than Frozen, which like I never thought I would ever say in my life, is because of the tone that the composers tried to come up with. It's much more like grander than in the first Frozen. It feels like much bigger, like a Broadway show does. So that's why it's a good thing for us to cover, because it is very, 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 very grand.
I mean, Kristen Lopez. Yeah, Kristen Lopez and Robert Lopez, like, they're an insane duo of writers and composers. Like, they've worked, obviously, on Frozen, the Broadway show, Frozen 2. They also did Book of Mormon, didn't they?
Did they?
Kristen Lopez. What did I say his name is? Robert. I'm pretty sure they've EGOT'd it at this point. Production career? Yes, they worked on Book of Mormon, Avenue Q, and then Frozen, which is a weird turn of events.
I was going to say, so the first Frozen was their first so that makes a lot of sense. That Frozen was their first non-Broadway production, you know? Like,
yeah. When did Frozen come out?
2013.
Okay. They actually did the musical adaptation of Finding Nemo first.
Are you so happy right now?
I'm so happy right now.
But that's still a Broadway production. I mean, it does not necessarily have to be a production. I guess I meant musical.
2007. Yeah, that was 2007. So,
when did Finding Nemo come out?
I don't know. But the musical in Animal Kingdom came out in 2007.
It's been playing that long?
Yup.
How did I just find out about it our last trip?
I don't know. I don't know where you've been. Oh, they did music for Winnie the Pooh in 2012, Frozen in 2014, Coco in 2018.
They Coco too?
They won Remember Me is them.
They are so much cooler than I thought.
Oh yeah, no. Kristen and Robert Lopez are amazing. Avenue Q was like my first like adult show that I was ever into, I guess. Let me think about that.
Yes. I mean, you're into Spring Awakening.
Yeah, but I was into Avenue Q way before.
Yeah.
Spring Awakening. And so like I've liked their music since, Avenue Q came out in like 2004, I want to say. Maybe before that.
I was 10.
Oh god. It transferred to Broadway in 2003. So yeah.
I was 9.
I've been into Avenue. Oh God, I've been into Avenue Q. Yeah, that's about right, since middle school. So, and it was Sesame Street, but for adults. So, right. I was very into Avenue Q, and then obviously Book of Mormon, and then they kind of switched into kid stuff. So, they did Frozen, and then Coco, and then now Frozen 2.
My first adult show, probably Book of Mormon, and I was a junior. Because, like, I had heard some songs from Avenue Q, like If You Were Gay, which is still my fave. But I can't think of like anything else. Well, it's funny because the shows that I like now, they have so many adult themes that I have a hard time putting them into playlists for my kids to warm up to, because I always have to be like, and that one's inappropriate or that one's inappropriate. So I always have to pick like I love listening to Dear Evan Hansen. I can't let them listen to Sincerely Me.
Absolutely not.
But that's the only
inappropriate.
One that, like, very inappropriate. But like other than that, the whole soundtrack is clean. So like there's no swearing in it. There's no inappropriateness besides one line in that song. I mean, they talk about drugs in that song, so maybe that whole song. But other than that, so it's funny to me that thinking about it, Book of Mormon was my first show that I was like, oh my, this talks about bad things.
Oh no, that was definitely me with Avenue Q. And they're both the same composers, so that works.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because like I remember when I went to go see the original Frozen, like I had no idea anything. Like I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know anything about it. I think at that point the only thing I had seen was the teaser, which is like Olaf and Sven on like either side of a frozen lake, and they're both trying to get to a carrot.
Yeah.
And like the movie had nothing to do with that.
No.
And I remember sitting and we were like, oh, of course we're going to go see it. It's a Disney movie. Like, let's go see it. And we saw it probably the Friday that it came out. And it was me and Christy. We went to go see it. And I remember sitting, like, waiting for the movie to start. And I looked up the IMDb and I'm like, Idina Menzel's in this movie? Kristen Bell's in this movie? Jonathan Groff is in this movie? Josh Gad is in this? Oh, what? What are we about to watch? And like Christy just looked at me and I'm like, I feel like this is going to be a big deal. And like watching it and then it actually being a big deal that I saw it, I think 3 more times in the movie theater. So I'm very obsessed. And I remember afterwards, obviously getting into the soundtrack and like looking and being like, Kristen and Robert Lopez, like Book of Mormon Kristen and Robert Lopez. I'm like, can't be the same people. And of course, looking it up on the internet and being like, well, yep, it's the same people.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're just so talented and so awesome. And the music in this, the sequels particularly, is just so good. It's so very well written and very well rounded. And I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. That makes sense. Well rounded. That's a good way to put it. My only complaint with both Frozen movies is that there's no finale song.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like, I feel like because of our Broadway background, it needs to like start, climax, end.
Exactly.
And it doesn't. It's mostly climax.
Exactly. Like on the Frozen soundtrack, the original Frozen soundtrack, I think the last song is Fixer Upper.
It is.
And I'm like, this can't be the end. Like, this can't be the last song on the soundtrack. And it is. And then this one, the last song on the soundtrack, which, don't get me wrong, Show Yourself is a great song. Actually, I'm sorry. The Next Right Thing. The Next Right Thing is an amazing song, but it's not a finale song.
No.
Like, so
that's the climax song.
Exactly. One of them for that story arc.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I just want a nice little song to wrap everything up. And just, what did we learn?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and that's because I'm a Broadway fan.
Well, absolutely. But I think, because I feel like, because they wrote Book of Mormon and the, what's the last song? Something Latter Day.
Tomorrow is a Latter Day or something.
Isn't it the reprise though?
Probably.
Because it's the one where the Africans sing it with him.
Yeah, but it circles back to the opening song.
Right. Which is
it's how Tomorrow is a Latter Day.
Which is how it's supposed to be. So,
Agreed.
like, we know they know how to write it.
Well, here's the thing is that, like, if you listen to the deluxe of Frozen 2, there's a bunch of cut songs. So, like, I'm sure it just got cut for timing, but it just feels incomplete to me. And that is me that I listen to Broadway cast albums all the time. Like, all of the time.
Like, it doesn't feel incomplete in the movie. It feels incomplete when you listen to the soundtrack. Like, again, Frozen, the first one was on repeat for a year. And I'm crazy and have to have them played in order because of cast albums. So it'll end Fixer Upper and then it'll be like, Born of Cold and Winter Air. And I'm like, what? How are we back at the beginning? Every single time. I'm like, this isn't, but we just did Fixer Upper.
Also, can I say how much I'm upset that they didn't put in either cast album, or I'm sorry, listen to me, cast album, either soundtrack, the intro song.
It was at the what intro song?
Okay, so the intro song with all the snowflakes in the beginning of Frozen.
Yeah.
The na 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 ya na na ya. That's not in the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant it's not in the movie. I was like,
Oh, no. It's in the movie. I'm just saying it's not in the soundtrack.
yeah.
And then in Frozen 2, like when in that moment in the movie,
I did
that
cry at that part.
Broke my heart.
Me
like
too.
when they realized that their mother was from their tribe and then their father was from Arendelle, and then the tribes people start like stomping their staffs and they start singing it, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
I'm gonna cry right now. Also, when they just did it at the beginning of Frozen 2, I was like, oh my god, here we go.
That is not, like, I understand that there's not really any words, but it's not on the soundtrack, and it makes me very sad.
I really love, now I'm just playing the ice cutting song, Frozen Heart.
In your head?
Yeah, I love that song.
Okay, I do too, but you know what we haven't talked about?
Kristoff's song?
Jonathan Groff's 80s love ballad? Yes.
Okay, that was one of my biggest complaints in Frozen 1.
Oh, that he didn't sing? Absolutely. Yeah. It's Jonathan Groff.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like Lost in the Woods while I was watching it, but I like it more when I listen to it now, and the more I think about it. I think I was just really thrown off as to what was happening.
I agree with you. Yeah. I was definitely taken out of it for a second, and then I remembered that in the first movie, Olaf got a song where he was like dancing with some seagulls in summer. So I kind of let it go, and and just kind of enjoyed it. And the fact that like the only person on vocals on that song is Jonathan Groff, so he had like a crazy harmony with himself, like just makes me melt.
It also was like, that was the solo that Jesse St. James deserved.
Yes, Glee. It was such a Jesse St. James song. It was great. Oh my god.
Him and his 80 power ballads. We already knew he could do it. Just go listen to his cover of Bohemian Rhapsody right now. Stop playing this and look up Bohemian Rhapsody Glee cast.
Jonathan Groff.
Also, another one bites the dust.
And him and Rachel singing Hello is amazing.
Oh my god.
The Lionel Richie Hello, like when they first meet. Oh,
I know we covered Glee a couple episodes ago, but we may just need a Glee episode. I love Glee.
Glee is great. It is.
I also have like no interest in rewatching it because I know it's not as good as I remember it, which is fine because my interests have changed. But like, I love thinking about Glee.
I do too. And actually, speaking of Glee, Becca, why don't we talk about our potato this week? Because my potato is Glee adjacent.
Then go.
Okay, so my potato this week, and I know I talked about... Oh, by the way,
wait, before we do it, we've decided to just drop down to one potato instead of 3.
Just the one.
Just the one. So just one good thing about our week.
My potato this week, and I know I talked about it last week, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more this week, is I actually today, this afternoon, saw Spring Awakening. And why is that Glee adjacent, you may ask? Because Leah Michele and Jonathan Groff were in the original Broadway cast of Spring Awakening.
Both made their Broadway debuts in it.
Anyway, so a local theater, the Inside Out Theater up in Sunrise, Broward County, put on a production of Spring Awakening, and I love that show so much. And I'm gonna go out there and say it. I know that this show is not for everyone. It definitely has a lot of triggers. Yep. You know, it deals with suicide, it deals with sexual assault, it deals, you know, with death and like just actual assault, like physical assault. So there's definitely a lot of heavy things in this show, and I am by no means telling you like you have to see the show, because obviously if any of these things trigger you, don't go see it. Right. But this cast, this production was so good, and it was a bunch of high school kids, which like, as the only fan of Rise, like, completely melted my heart. The one fan who watched NBC's Rise. I love the fact that this is a show about kids coming of age that was put on by kids who are coming of age. And while Spring Awakening takes place in, like, the turn of the century, like, 1906, you know, and obviously...
That's only 7 years after Newsies. That just blew my mind. Anyway, continue.
And obviously that was, you know, over 100 years ago. Like the themes and the same kind of issues that the kids went through back then, a lot of kids are still going through now. So I just love seeing this production, especially done by high school kids. Like, it's the first time I've ever seen it done by high school kids. It completely blew my mind, the amount of talent that there is. And it was a very, very good show. What is your potato this week?
My nephew turned 1, which I talked about last week, but his birthday party was today and it was Mickey themed. And that's it. And I just love that little boy so much.
Becca's been sending me pictures all day of the party, and like, I am so sad that I could not be there. Not that I was invited, but her nephew was like in like little red suspenders with his little yellow shoes and his bow tie and his Mickey ears. Like, he looks so cute.
I know. He's pretty awesome.
He is the cutest.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. It just made me so happy. Like, I was so happy all day. I told my sister, I was like, are you trying to make him like come for my brand? Like, is this what's happening right now? Mickey is my thing. And she's like, no. And I was like, stop it.
That's adorable. We're currently planning my goddaughter's third birthday. Third birthday. She is turning 3. Yeah, I know. They're both, like, I can't keep up. They're both growing up way too fast. And they're going to Disney, and like the only thing she's asked me is if she can meet Olaf. Because she's not obsessed with Anna and Elsa. The older one is, the one that's 4 turning 5. Like, she's the one that's like all into all of the princesses, especially Anna and Elsa. But the little one is just like all about Olaf.
You know what you could do?
What?
I bet if you go to Epcot and you bring like a big Olaf stuffy, I bet you could have Anna give it to her.
Well, she asked Santa Claus for an Olaf stuffy, and she has been a good girl this year, so I'm 100% sure that Santa's going to be bringing her a gigantic Olaf stuffy this year.
I'm jealous. I want a gigantic Olaf stuffy.
So do I. Then again, I am a child, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, all of my interests are very childlike. I mean, I have literally 2 Mickey stuffies and a mini stuffy that sit on my headboard all the time.
I have a Mickey Build-A-Bear that is like it's not an actual bear, it's actually Mickey Mouse from the 90th anniversary, and he has a Minnesota shirt on because I built him at the Mall of America in Minnesota with Rachel and Isaac and Pix, and I miss them so much. Hi, guys. Speaking of Olaf, because we were talking about Olaf, what did you think of him, like his character in this movie? His whole, like, growing up thing.
I loved his song. I thought it was so funny. But that may be just, I love Josh Gad. And Elder Cunningham is my favorite, too. So, like, that may just be a Josh Gad thing. But I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't as, like, into him as I was in the first one.
That's fair.
But I think it just might have been I was so focused on Anna because she's my favorite. Like, it may just be I was like, oh my god, look at all this character development for Anna.
So, When I'm Older didn't capture me as much as In Summer did at all. However, I was recently sitting doing, like, my budget for next year while listening to that song. And I'm just like, okay, it's all gonna make sense when I'm older, as I'm, like, doing my budget and, like, canceling subscriptions and, like, doing all of this stuff. And I'm just like, it's fine.
It's fine. It doesn't hurt at all. But, see, that whole song kind of reminded me of the, oh, look, I've been impaled, like, energy. And so I was into it. Like, in the movie, I was into it. It's just one of those things where I, like, it didn't stick out in my brain as much as, like, Kristoff's storyline, if that makes sense. Like, his and Anna's relationship, first of all, very healthy relationship. I love it. And we're just going back to it. Kristoff is my favorite.
I love that they showed him, like, not just like every other Disney prince, like, oh, will you marry me? And that's the whole thing. Like, they showed, like, his whole struggle with everything.
Right. I liked that a lot too. And also, like, he technically saves her from peril.
Not like, he definitely saves her. Like, there's no way around that.
Like, he technically saves her, but he doesn't do it in a way that makes her feel, I don't know how to
like a damsel.
This. Right.
Like, yeah, no, it wasn't a, oh, I'm here now, like, let me do all of the work. It was, let me make sure you don't die, and what do you need?
Right. And that's what I really liked that he said. He said, I'm here, what do you need? Like, not, let me control the situation, which a lot of Disney princes do. But Cute.
I'm a child. It's fine.
Nice. So that's what I just, he's so good. I just love him. It also helps that he's very cute and is John Groff. So it's fine.
Groff sauce.
My Groff sauce. My baby. I love him. Even though he's older than me, he's a baby.
How is he? He's older than me, I think.
He's 30.
Okay, cool. He's older than me. Whew. Can we talk about how much Kristen Bell has improved? Like how much
just in
training,
general.
Like
just in general in life.
Well,
I love
good
her.
for her. Her singing voice has improved so much.
Oh yeah, it is much more Broadway.
Absolutely. Like you can definitely tell that she's been like practicing and training and doing what she needs to do in order to sing this. And I'm obsessed with
she's
the next right thing.
She's one of those people that I'm not like obsessed with. I just started watching The Good Place and stopped after 9 episodes.
Boo.
Oh, dude, I know. I'm going to watch it. It's a show that I want to pay attention to.
It's more important than New Girl.
Okay, but it's a show that I want to pay attention to.
Okay, it's more important than rewatching New Girl.
I'm not rewatching it. I've never seen season 5.
Okay, well, it's more important than the end of New Girl.
What was I saying? Oh, so she's not a person that I like follow really closely. Actually, the things that I know the most about her are from her husband, Dak Shepard, because he is someone I follow really closely and listen to his podcast. So I know that literally from his podcast, because I have listened to a bajillion hours of that man talking, and he talks about her a lot. That she like loves theater, and every second they get, they go to New York to see like theater all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, wait, doesn't she do that show on Disney Plus?
Encore?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you watched it?
No. The only original content I have watched on Disney Plus is High School Musical, the musical, the series, which, by the way, 4th episode, not a huge fan of. Fifth episode?
Fifth episode.
5th episode.
I feel the same way about all of the 5th episodes that came out this week. I wasn't a huge fan of The Mandalorian this week. I wasn't a huge fan of High School Musical, the musical, the series this week. I wasn't a huge fan of the Jeff Goldblum this week. And I haven't seen the Encore yet. Imagineering is my favorite docu-series ever in existence, so it was fine. It made the cut. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this was a filler episode.
It was gross. I didn't like it. They were hanging out with their teacher outside of school, which made me uncomfortable and reminded me of Glee.
Fair.
That's all I'll say about that. And
Fair.
It was boring after last week's episode, which was perfect.
Okay, so Kristen Bell, like, I wasn't a Veronica Mars
Me either.
person. However, I was obsessed with Forgetting Sarah Marshall because I have...
Vince Vaughn?
No.
What's that guy? I get his name mixed up. He's from How I Met Your Mother.
Jason Segel.
Is that him?
Yes.
Okay.
I was obsessed with Jason Segel because of How I Met Your Mother.
I don't know why I get him and Vince Vaughn mixed up.
Neither do I. I mean, to be fair, they're in couples retreat together.
Never seen that.
That's the movie that she's in with Vince Vaughn.
Kristen Bell's in that?
Yes.
Well, maybe I need to watch it.
Probably.
Also, I've seen like every interview she's ever had on Ellen. Like the
oh my god,
interview.
The sloth. Speaking of interviews, I have been watching Jonathan Groff and Josh Gad Frozen 2 interviews.
Oh my god, they're so funny.
And I just need them to be in a show together. Like
what
now.
Do you mean?
Like in a show.
Like a
in
TV show?
No, like a Broadway show.
I want to see... Okay, I have this like weird dream that I'm going to put out into the universe right now.
Go ahead.
I want a buddy cop musical. Like, I love buddy cop movies. And I know I say I don't watch movies, but Let's Be Cops is one of my...
No way. Ew.
I love it. I love Jake Johnson. So I want...
so bad.
I know. Edie, I love bad movies. I mean, one of my favorite movies is The Social Network, so like that gives me a little bit of cred. But other than that, it's all bad movies.
It doesn't. Okay, you can't pull out The Social Network every time I call you out for liking a bad movie.
I mean,
like it only gives you a pass for like 2 bad movies, and you're on like 17 bad movies at this point.
Wait, what other bad movie do I like?
I don't know. I just pulled a number out of my butt.
Oh, okay. I just really like cheesy movies. And I don't know. I want a buddy
Also, I
cop
will never
musical.
forgive you for Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf's amazing.
It's
Listen,
so
listener,
bad. It's
listener,
so
you're gonna
bad.
You're gonna hear my mouth noises right now.
That's
Just
too
kidding. I'll
close.
put my pop filter back on.
Thank you. I did not like that at all.
Watch Teen Wolf.
Don't
It's
do
a great
it.
television show. Stiles Stilinski is the love of my life, and I know I say that all the time, but this is like real. Like
Okay.
he actually is the love of my life.
Okay,
Go watch Teen Wolf.
But first of all, Becca's never seen the whole series.
No, because the last couple of seasons suck.
Okay,
So
number
watch,
2.
like, watch up until I can't even, that's a spoiler. Watch up until season 4. Watch all of season 4. 1 through 4.
Okay, second of all, the entire show is terrible. Like, don't let her tell you that it's just the last couple seasons. The entire show is terrible.
You liked it.
It was on MTV. Let's just start there.
You liked it.
It was trashy.
You liked it.
I liked it. I liked it as much as I loved it. I liked it as much as I like.
You liked it. You liked it.
I hate you. I liked it as much as I liked the Vampire Diaries, which I did like as watching it. But the more I think about it, the more I was like, wow, that was such a waste of time.
It's not, though. Okay, listen, here is my stance, and this is a hot take. The things that you enjoy do not have to be super intellectual. They don't have to be art. Actually, everything's art, but they don't have to be like quote unquote art. They don't have to be these truly wonderful things, because my favorite musical is Legally Blonde the musical, and it is just a musical. Like, it's not... I don't like the thought that because I enjoy something, I'm not criticizing you, but because I enjoy something, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be quote unquote art. It doesn't have to be deep. I just like it. My favorite movie of all time is Friends with Benefits. So like, it just has to make me feel good. Let's be cops.
Just let me love things on a mustard yellow shirt.
I don't know why. Let me love things should be merch. Just let me love things.
I agree. I'm a Disney fan as an adult.
I was gonna say, we're literally talking about Frozen 2.
I know, as an adult, like the amount of people that tell me I am like wasting my time watching Disney movies because I'm 28 years old. How old am I? 28 years old. Like, it's just plentiful, to say the least. So I am not here to crap on anything that you like. Love what you love. Let's Be Cops is a terrible movie.
It is a terrible movie.
You can love it. I'm just letting you know.
I don't know why I'm dying on this hill, because like I saw that movie when it was in theaters. Yeah. I just remember loving Jake Johnson, which like still true. It could also be because I'm watching New Girl right now, and like Nick Miller is a caricature of my dream guy. Like, obviously not that bad. Like, he's intense and like not responsible and all of that. But like his sweet side is Jake Johnson, man. He is, whoo, doggy. Let me take a sip of my water.
Okay, actually, before we wrap up, can we talk
it's that time.
Can we talk about the cover songs? The Panic at the Disco, Into the Unknown, the Casey Casey Musgraves, All Is Found, the Weezer, Lost in the Woods. Like, what? Disney always does this. Like, they always put like one pop version, but they have 3 here. 3.
I never like the pop covers.
I'm obsessed with the Weezer, Lost in the Woods. Like, obsessed with the Weezer version. And the Panic at the Disco. I know how you feel about Panic at the Disco, or this cover by Panic.
I was going to say, I like Panic.
No, I know. However, when you're singing a song that is sung by Idina Menzel, I feel like you're just already playing at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's definitely, and I love Brendan Urie.
Oh, absolutely. That being said, I think Brendan Urie was amazing on this track. I think it's a great cover. I think it's like, it bops. Like, I love it a lot. I still listen to the Idina version, but more because I'm a musical theater nerd, and that's just the style that I like. However, the Weezer version of Lost in the Woods I might actually like better than the Groff Sauce version.
Don't put that out into the universe, because then they won't let him sing on the next soundtrack.
Oh, he'll sing. He will sing.
I want like a full Kristoff storyline next time. I want like Frozen 3 to be about Kristoff, because the girls are good now.
Well, do you think that they're actually going to do a Frozen 3?
Probably. They like money. They did 3 Cars.
Fair.
And Frozen is right behind Cars for merchandise.
Also, Frozen 2 just like, it was the #1 movie in the box office for the 3rd week now.
Right.
I mean, fair. I don't
I'm
want
okay
them
with it.
to.
Nah, I'm okay with it.
Like, I think we're good.
I'm not a person where if it continues, I get like upset. Like I love Cars.
I hate Cars.
I know. I don't like the second one. I like the first and the third. The first one, honestly, is one of my favorite Disney movies. It's probably for like family and nostalgic reasons, but I love the third, and the third made me sob. So it doesn't bother me when there's a part of the series that stinks. So I just want them to continue. I don't care.
Okay, confession. I have seen every single Pixar movie that has ever come out, except for Cars 2 and 3.
Cars 2 sucks. Just watch 3.
I have not watched either of them, just because I wasn't a huge fan of Cars, the original, and it didn't catch my attention enough to go watch the sequels. Maybe now that they're on Disney Plus, I'll watch them. But I haven't seen them. Like, those are actually probably the only Disney movies that Linton has seen that I have not. Because Linton loves Cars, because he's a boy and loves cars. So naturally he loves capital C Cars. And yeah, I haven't watched them.
The third one made me cry. Like a baby.
Right. Maybe I'll watch them. We'll see.
But kind of like in the way that Toy Story 3 made me cry, because it was like the end of an era kind of thing.
But then Toy Story 4 came out. That's my point, is that you cry at Toy Story 3 because it's the end of an era and it's this whole perfectly boxed up box and with a bow tie. Everything's perfect. It ends perfectly.
Yeah, literally perfectly. Like
and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Toy Story 4. I really did.
I forgot Toy Story 4 existed until you said it.
I enjoyed Toy Story 4. I just didn't think it was necessary. Anyway.
It's fun though.
I don't think Frozen 3 is necessary. And I think that this ended exactly the way it should have ended. Now that it's ended this way and these are what we're left with, Anna as a queen, Elsa as a goddess, like I can't think of any other possible way of it ending or it continuing on from here.
I want Anna to develop powers.
No. Okay, listen, you cannot be the person who's happy that Styles was human and also the person who wants Anna to have powers. Go watch Teen Wolf, I guess. Begrudgingly.
I know, he's the only human in his whole troop. Which is what makes me love him. But
That's what I'm saying.
But she's not the only human. Kristoff would be.
Okay, but she doesn't need to have powers. She is a queen.
I want her to have powers.
Why?
I thought it was going to come out that she was the wind spirit. That's what I wanted to happen.
Why?
Because there's no reason. I just legitimately thought that she would, like, that's what this movie was going to be about. And so, like, the second it was announced, I was like, that's what it's going to be about. And this is why I don't watch trailers, because then I get things in my head like this. I mean, it had nothing to do with the trailer, but like this is like the reason why I don't watch trailers is because the second there's a little nudge, this is why I can't watch Disney theory videos anymore, is because there's a little nudge that's like, hey, this could be real. I'm like, yeah, that's real. That's how it is now.
I think they did a really good job at having these like 3 to 4 different storylines and keeping it well-rounded, that this wasn't just, oh, this is Elsa's movie. Like, while Elsa is, I feel, the main character and she has the most, I guess, secrets revealed and kind of like an arc to it, I think Anna's character, just character building, just her actual character is changed and grown so much in this film. She doesn't need to have powers, is my point. She is now the Queen of Arendelle. But it's not going to happen. Cut to like 6 years from now when Frozen 3 comes out and Anna has powers.
No, what I want to happen, I want Anna and Kristoff to have children, and I want one of her children to have power. That would be cool.
They need to stop making Frozen movies now before they
also,
just never stop
making.
They just never stop making Frozen movies. Is she not gay? Like, I assumed that she was just gay. Like, I totally was like, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
No, but like a lot of people have the theory that she's going to be the first LGBTQ plus character.
I feel this is already a truth.
In my bones?
Yes, I feel like this is already a fact and a truth. Like, that's just me.
That would be great. No, you know what they should do? They should have a Frozen TV show. I just love Frozen, and I love Arendelle, and I love Kristoff and Anna, and Sven. Okay,
well, before we turn into a Disney movie theory podcast.
Oh, God, I would be so bad at that.
Do you have any final thoughts about Frozen 2, the music, the story, the characters, anything?
I love Kristoff. That's it.
Okay, I will leave you with this. I think this music is probably the best music on a Disney soundtrack. And I'm saying this fully aware
That
of
Moana exists.
That Moana exists and that Lin-Manuel Miranda created the music for Moana.
I can't wait for the next Little Mermaid.
Will probably change my mind when that happens. I cannot get enough of the soundtrack. I think the music is great. I think that this was definitely a more show tune-y, Broadway-y feel than a Disney movie. Mm-hmm. And while Moana, the music is amazing and I love Lin-Manuel Miranda with every fiber of my being, I felt this was more Broadway than Moana was.
So Moana, in my opinion, is much more like nowadays Broadway. Obviously very Lin-Manuel Miranda Broadway, very Joe Iconis Broadway. But I feel like this one was much more old school Broadway. And it's probably because it reminded me so much of Wicked. But it was much more like
Wicked is not old school Broadway. No, it's not.
But Wicked is like old school Broadway.
Okay. I will agree to disagree on that one.
I don't like old shows. It's like the oldest show I like besides Rent.
And Phantom.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting I like Phantom.
I love how you looked at me like a cost that I would say that you liked Phantom.
I keep forgetting I like Phantom. There's like proof.
Anyway, what did you guys think? Did you like the movie? Did you like the music? You can tweet at us about it or DM us on Instagram. At the show is at SincerelyUsPod. You can DM me on Instagram or Twitter at _EenieMeenie. That's INYMEENY.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca Eddowes, BECCAEDDOWS. Our art is by the lovely Synergetic Art.
And don't forget, we have a Facebook group currently open. You can join our Facebook group. We just talk about the show, talk about shows that we're liking, cast albums that we're liking, share memes, do all of the things. It's just a good way for us to kind of interact with you guys.
The next time that we do one of the themed episodes that we do, like our sidekicks episode and like our powerful female characters episode, we're gonna post in there and be like, what's your opinion? So if you want to get in on that and like hear your opinion said on the air, join our Facebook group and talk to us about it. The link to our Facebook group is bit.ly/sincerelyfb.
Also, if you guys are liking the show, please, you can either leave us like however many stars on iTunes, and
5.
You can, ideally, you can rate us on iTunes. You can do it with the star system, or you can actually write in your review for the show, and that really helps us out a lot. And we've decided that if you guys do that, we're just going to start reading them on air. So this week, we would like to thank
CMK Lincoln. They actually left this review back in September. So, hi, you're awesome. You did it before we even asked for it. So you're pretty great. They wrote, I finally feel understood. I love Sincerely Yes because of the opinions of the host embody my most hidden opinions about musical theater. I don't usually have people to talk about Broadway with, but this podcast talks about everything I love about Broadway.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Are we going to cry at this section of the podcast
this
every week?
This is a terrible idea.
So, there are, this person says that they don't have people to talk about this with, so join our Facebook group and talk about us with it. Talk about all of our friends with it. We're trying to build like a non-pretentious theater community, so come join us over there.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm going to leave you a quote that Eni kind of stole my thunder with.
Sorry.
But I'll do it anyway. That's okay. It's funny because on IMDb, this quote is credited to Sven, when Sven definitely didn't say this. Kristoff did.
Sven said voice. This.
It's kind of wishy-washy.
What are you talking about? Sven is a completely different character voice. Actually, I know. Why doesn't an actual speaking reindeer? Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm surprised that in like the credits it doesn't say Jonathan Groff, Kristoff, and Sven. It should.
It should.
But one of my favorite quotes from the movie, you feel what you feel and your feelings are real.
Sincerely, us.
Isn't that our music?